Hi, you're on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, am I pronouncing your name correctly? It's Diane. Diane. Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
I think you have a poor network connection.
Am I good to go now?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, Diane. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good, thank you. So, welcome on stage, Dayan Batchman. So, before you start your presentation, I would like to invite you to the audience who you are. So, Dayan Batchman has worked in special education for over 15 years with students of all disabilities and most recently in a behavior program for students with challenging behaviors. She is CEO and founder of Behavior Strategies for Class, a business supporting and coaching teachers and educators in managing students with challenging and disruptive behaviors. She has also been certified for the last 15 years in nonviolent crisis intervention with the Crisis Prevention Institute. She enjoys working with students and helping them grow mentally, emotionally, academically, and socially so that they will be responsible and productive adults. That's really great presentation, introduction for Diane Bashman. Yes, you can occupy the stage.
Thank you. It is so great to be here.
Yes,
And who who is the best person to influence education and help struggling students the most? Who has a grit to persevere and speak for those students who can't speak for themselves? And it's women. It is women who are the game changers, the leaders in education, fighting for every student to get the resources they need to succeed and shapes their future. And so, what are the statistics? So, statewide, 56% of principals are women. Only 24% of school superintendents are women. 75% of teachers are women. Now, globally, 90% of elementary teachers are women, and 50 to 60% of secondary teachers are women. So we still have room to grow. We need more women leaders in education to help shape the future of students. And I want to encourage you to be that leader. So, research has shown that women help increase productivity, they enhance collaboration, they inspire, they are organized and dedicated, and they improve fairness. And you do all of these things, you increase that productivity because you have set clear expectations in your classroom. You have routines that your students know. So they don't have to bother you 500 times a day on what needs to be done. They already know what tools they need, what resources they need to move on to the next subject, to move on to whatever the next thing is. You have already created that so that the productivity begins right away. You enhance the collaboration. And that is teaching those social skills. When those students can learn how to collaborate and work together, when they know how to deal with conflict, when they know how to let each other speak, when they learn how to take turns and be empathetic, These are amazing. And I guess I'm having trouble with audio. So I will get a little bit closer to my mic. Thank you for letting me know, Jacqueline. So, benefits for teaching social skills when they are collaborating together, when they're working together on a project, they have one goal, and that is teaching those social skills. You, the female in your class, all of your students, by not all your hard work and dedication. And I am still having trouble. Let me check my audio. I will get close to the mic. I'm not sure why it is not coming through. I am doing my best just here. Okay. So again, you are teaching social skills as you have your students collaborate and work together. And you teach that organization by having things organized in your class, and you teach those executive functioning skills by teaching them organization, by helping them organize the desk, like where their books go, where their paper go, where should their pencils, markers, scissors, everything go. And if you've been in a classroom, you have seen those desks and stuff is just flying out all over the place. But you occasionally work with that student, coming back and help them put everything out and put it back all together where it should be to teach those executive carry on for their other things as well. And um, we need to keep teaching those skills. Also, you improve fairness, and that is right along with those social skills. Teaching empathy, teaching collaboration, taking turns, hearing each other out. These are skills that will help shape their future, and you continue to teach those every day when you have collaboration. Okay, let me try again on the audio. Oh my gosh. I apologize. I am doing audio and I don't know why it is not working. Thank you for your patience. I am going to keep going. I don't know what else to do to get the speaker up. But I'm going to continue and hope and pray that my audio comes through and you are able to hear me. I have turned up my speakers as much as possible, and hopefully that helps as well. So again, there is research that shows the power of leaders in education. And so here are a couple of these that have made a difference in education. And Rita Pearson is an amazing educator. She was an amazing educator. And if you get a chance to listen to her TED Talk, everyone deserves, every child deserves a champion. And not. I will try again with my audio. What else to do here? Hopefully that is working now. Again, I'm doing my best to get this to work. So Rita Pearson has an inspiring legacy, and she was an amazing educator. Um, okay, I am still having issues with my internet. And my sound. It says it's from connection is trying to reconnect. Shoot. Sorry. I don't know. Lord.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I don't know what happened.
Yes, your internet is not stable. I think you have a poor network connection. Now it is good.
See, it's showing strong and then it goes out.
Yeah, to make
So
it
what can I
better,
do?
yeah, if you are okay to make it better, you can turn off your video and talk so that it will be better.
Shut off the video and just show my presentation?
Yeah, to make the internet connection stable, that is the only thing.
All right, let me try that.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
And that's better?
Yes, good.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that again, guys. Thank you for your patience. So again, I was talking about some educators that still have a legacy of impacting students, and that is Rita Pearson. She has an amazing TED Talk. If you are able to listen to that, it's Every Child Deserves a Champion. And she was in education for 40 years. She was a teacher, a assistant principal. She was a school counselor. She was a consultant. And her legacy lives on because she realized the impact of student relationships and how essential that is to students' learning. And now there is research done that proves that what she learned like 40 years ago. So it's amazing because I do see that every day in the schools, the impact of teachers taking time, getting to know their students, connecting with their students. Another amazing woman leader in education is Malala Yousafzai. And I apologize, I probably said that incorrectly, but she is a Pakistani activist for female education and the youngest Nobel Prize laureate. She is the global symbol for the fight for girls' education. And she is also a film and television producer. So she uses that platform as well to continue to fight for girls' education. Of course, these are only a couple of women leaders in education, and I know there are so many more others, and we continue to need many more women leaders in education to impact and fight for students to get what they need. And so that just reminds me that as a woman leader, your influence matters and you are a role model. You know, students are watching you every day. The way you interact with their peers, the way you interact with other adults that come into the room, the way they interact with other staff in the school building, the way administration interacts with other educators. You are a role model and you model the behavior that you want your students to have. And that again is those social skills and how you communicate that and how you show that. You also promote equality and inclusion, and that is for all students. So I have worked in special education for over 15 years, and I have seen amazing educators include those students with special needs. And that influences all of the other general education students to come alongside those students with special needs. And that is just amazing to watch how they encourage and motivate and help them, whether it's at recess or during any academics or lunchtime. They include those students because they've seen you model that. Because unfortunately, I have seen educators not include those students with special needs. And that's heartbreaking. And I've also seen educators ask those students with special needs to leave their room because they're making noises and interrupting the teaching. But these are special needs students who cannot control the noises that they make. So that is heartbreaking to see that. But thankfully, I have seen a lot more teachers include all students and help all students and support them in their success. And so as you build communities in your classroom, that spills over into your school community and then outside community. So you are a role model and you influence all of those around you, no matter where you are. And that is even at church, that's at the soccer field, that's at a football field, at dance, at gym, taekwondo, whatever it is, you are a role model and students are watching, people are watching you. And so we need to continue to be those women leaders who influence no matter where you are. And I think of one teacher that I'm working with currently, and she's a first grade teacher, and she does such an amazing job in teaching her students how to be independent thinkers, how to be problem solvers, how to be helpful in helping other students. So she has them go through a process before they even ask her what the answer is. And that is so amazing. Like, I have not seen that at the first grade level. And could you imagine if all first grade classrooms were able to learn that? They wouldn't learn that helplessness. They wouldn't be bugging their teachers every 5 seconds for a question, for an answer. So you are helping to lay the foundation and shaping your students' behaviors and their learning, their success by teaching them those skills on how to be independent, how to be confident. And so you still have work to do. We still need women leaders in education to fight for those students who actually have challenging behaviors, because those students are the ones also who are not always included. They sometimes, I have seen, shuffled from one class to another, from one grade level to another to another. Sometimes teachers just pass them on like they want it to be somebody else's problem. Whereas women leaders who influence education, we need to stop that and break that barrier and get the help those students need. And to remember that most of your students who have those challenging behaviors have it because they're hurting. And hurting families are a worldwide problem because poverty, homelessness, neglect, abuse, divorce, mental health illness, all of these things are worldwide issues that families face. And those issues are hurting families. And so they're hurting your students. And so your students are walking into your buildings, are walking into your classroom. How do you want them to feel when they're there? Do you want them to feel included or discarded? Do you want them to feel heard or silenced? We need to build a bridge to help these students get the help they need. And sometimes being at school is their only safe place. It is the only place that they feel seen, heard, and cared for. Somebody was telling me about a student, and this was high school student who was struggling staying in school. He didn't want to be in school. I don't know what the family history was, but he was obviously hurting. And a woman educator noticed him and asked him to come help her. I believe it was in the office, do some paperwork stuff. And he was willing to do that. And every day at the end of the day, she would tell that student, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Well, this student has now grown up and is actually an advocate for education as well and helping other students. And he finally told that teacher, that woman leader, the impact that she had. And all she had to say was, I'll see you tomorrow. And that impacted him enough for him to show up the next day and to show up the next day. Your influence matters. And it's not only the academics, it's making them feel loved and cared for. Because, like I said, they may not get that anywhere else because their families at home are hurting so much that they can't do that. And so to come into school and feel that, like I love to see teachers give those side hugs to their students. And it doesn't necessarily mean that those other students are hurting, but that's another role model you see, is to share that care for that student. And I think of one student that I'm working with now who is struggling with parents' divorce and in the middle of a custody battle. And his teacher, he hasn't been able to go to class. He's just been having a hard time. But he saw his teacher and she just ran up and gave him the biggest hug. And of course, I'm not saying we all need to run around and start hugging everybody, but your influence goes beyond the classroom. It goes beyond academics. And as women leaders, we need to continue to fight for that. We need to continue to be there for your students, to show them that you are a trusted, caring adult. And we break the barriers when we stop and ask, what happened to this student? Instead of, what is wrong with this student? I think of another student that I worked with who had some really tough background issues that he has gone through. And one day it was really kind of wild. I was working with him in class. Something triggered, something switched, and I just saw his whole face change. And I could not get through to him. But I was able to, help him and walk him back because we were in a different classroom, walk him back to his regular classroom. And unfortunately, he just like exploded. Like he just tore apart that room. And, thankfully, we were able to get the other class out. And I just want to remind you that your influence and your impact matters. And you need to stay in the fight because your students need you. And so it reminds me of a quote from Rosa Parks: to bring about change, you must not be afraid to take the first step. We will fail when we fail to try. And I know as women educators, we are doers. We do take the first step. You do take the second step, the third, and the fourth. And I encourage you to continue to do that. So I just want to say thank you so much for your patience, for taking time to listen in. And if you want to learn more, you can listen to my podcast, behaviorstrategiesforclass.com, and my website, behaviorstrategiesforclass.com. My podcast is Behavior Strategies for Class. I am on all of the social media outlets. I would love the opportunity to talk with you more, to offer my coaching, personalized coaching for you if you need it for your students. Continue to do the work because, again, our future, your students' futures depend on you to be the amazing woman leader fighting for them to succeed so that they can thrive not only in your class, but in community and in the future of their lives and be successful contributing adults someday. So thanks again. I truly appreciate it. It's been an honor to speak with you. And again, thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you so much, Dion Bachman, for the great presentation you have shared with us, Global Virtual Summit 2024. So you really got a very good comments from the audience and a lot of love from the audience. So yes, as we are running 1 hour late, so the speakers are joined in the backstage. So if you have any questions for the Dion, please post her personally, or you can email us so that we can reach out to her. Thank you so much, Dion Bashman, and have a nice day. And please join our next speaker sessions as well and post your questions. Thank you and bye bye.
Thank you.